Resident Evil 2.
Oh man, what an intro. Seriously, how in the world have I not talked about this game for a review yet? I mean, come on. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. Have been since I first experienced this game. Lots of fond memories of shooting zombies in an elaborately designed police station that looks like overkill. Does the game hold up today? You don't even need to ask. Of course it does! Resident Evil 2 has you play as Claire Redfield and now series staple Leon Kennedy. Claire is looking for her brother Chris, who hasn't been in contact with her for an extended period of time. Leon is on his way to the precinct, as it's his first day as a law enforcement officer in the Raccoon City Police Department. Each character has their own disc, and can be played in either order. Circumstances will change slightly depending on who you play as first, with each character's storylines intertwining at certain parts of the game. But that just makes it more fun to play it both ways, alternating who you start with. For this review, I opted to start with Claire, using Leon for Scenario B. So for those that aren't aware of what Resident Evil entails, it's simple. You run around some beautifully spooky areas that contain fixed camera angles, making it look like you are moving through still screenshots. As you get to the end of the screen, the camera swaps to the next room. To move, you use the now hated tank controls, which, again, I've never been against as I've found them simple enough to understand. Up moves forward, down moves backwards, with left and right spinning you in either direction. While you are solving the mystery of why zombies are roaming the streets of Raccoon City, you'll also be finding weapons and ammo to defeat said undead. To shoot, you hold down R1 to bring up your weapon, and press X to fire. Normally, you do have finite shots, so oftentimes it might be a better idea to try to evade the Walking Dead than to waste ammo trying to take them down unless they are an immediate threat. I must admit that, although I've been able to finish the game without it, to this day I still prefer using the infinite ammo cheat, done by going into the control options, highlighting key config, hold R1, and press square 10 times. Is it cheating? Sure, but I don't care. Anyway, yeah, zombies are going to be your primary threat, but that's not all. There's the frightening liquor to encounter, first observed in a horrific yet unforgettable scene in a starting hallway. Various bosses will bar your path, forcing you to opt for heavier weaponry than the pistol to take them down. Poisonous spiders will hunt for you in the sewers. Zombie dogs will leap for your throat. Each enemy is memorable in their own way, and will keep you on edge throughout the game. But again, weapons are available for the taking. You start with a knife, which is nearly useless, and a pistol. The knife can be used as a last-ditch effort to knock down enemies if you swipe at their legs, but timing needs to be perfect, and most times that I've found, the zombie will still lunge and bite you as you are trying to sever their tendons. The pistol is a great starting weapon, and you'll probably stick with it for a good chunk of the game. Ammo isn't exactly plentiful, but there's enough to be able to keep the standard walkers from ruining your day. Other than this, Claire and Leon get different sets of firearms, of which all of them are satisfying to use. Claire finds a bowgun, which is fun since arrows will stick into zombies and leak blood out from the wounds. Even better, she will also find a grenade launcher that can be equipped with 3 different types of grenades: acid, explosive, and flame rounds. Acid and explosive shells are much more limited in range, but fire multiple projectiles at once. The flame rounds will travel the length of the screen, but only has 1 blast per shot. Each does have their uses though. Leon, on the other hand, gets a shotgun and a magnum pistol. Both of these pack a mean punch, but I think I prefer the shotgun. Although the magnum will pop heads in the most literal sense with each shot, the shotgun can be aimed upwards to do the same, or downward to take out a zombie's legs. Or if you are sadistic enough, let them get up close and fire at their midsection. Zombies can be cleaved in half this way, and their upper body will continue crawling towards you. For the record, even with infinite ammo, I still love using the pistol. There's just something so satisfying about hearing the bullet casings strike the floor and bounce around. That sound? I absolutely love it. Speaking of sound, the music featured in the game is perfect. It's all atmospheric, with tempos increasing when things are chasing you. If the music cuts off entirely, you'll instinctively brace yourself as you know something is about to go down. And I don't know anyone that has played the game that has ever forgotten the save room music. It has to go down as one of the most iconic themes ever played in a video game. It's not even a long song, but it's so recognizable, and it exudes the feeling that you are actually safe in that area. Nothing can reach you and cause harm here. Of course, being that these are creatures that want to nibble on your brain, they'll do whatever they can to do so. If you are grabbed by a zombie, you want to mash as many buttons as possible to force them off of you. If the zombie is standing up, your character will push them off of you. But if they are gnawing on your shin, your character will kill them either by kicking off their head or smashing it with their shoe, depending on who you are controlling. It makes it so that it's not always a terrible thing that you are taking damage. As you probably noticed, there is no HUD on the screen. This helps build the tension in the world. In order to see your ammo or health, you'll need to enter the inventory screen. The EKG at the top shows your current health, going from fine and green, to yellow caution, orange caution, to finally danger in red. Once you enter the caution state, your character will place their hand on their midsection to give a visual clue that they are slightly wounded. There is no distinction that I can tell between both cautions. However, if you reach danger, you're in serious trouble. One or two more attacks will probably kill you, and to make matters worse, your character will start to limp heavily, slowing you down. This is a terrible thing when you are getting chased by one of the faster monsters. Once you are limping, you better heal immediately, otherwise, you're probably in for some deep trouble. For the record, slaying zombies isn't the only thing you do in Resident Evil 2. There are a few puzzles that will also need to be solved. Some of these are switch puzzles, like flipping levers in a specific order to turn on an electrical generator, or moving bookcases around to reveal an important item. Others force you to find a number of objects that are needed to open a door. For example, a few square plaques, or 4 spark plug looking items that are modeled after chess pieces. In addition, the police precinct has multiple locked doors, which need to be opened with a set of 4 keys, each with a playing card suit on them. I will admit that I never understood how the heroes knew when a keycard or standard key was determined to be useless from there on out. Do their spidey senses tell them this? And it's only a key, why does it take up so much space? Just slap it on one of their existing key rings and they should be fine, right? Oh well, video game logic for the win. Possibly the best thing about Resident Evil 2 is how everything comes together. Again, the weapons are perfectly suited for killing the undead threat that's lumbering throughout the various areas that you'll be running through. Said areas are designed in a way that makes sense and builds atmosphere, using lots of dark colors to exacerbate the feeling of dread. Jump scares aren't everywhere, but they do happen, with this one giving me flashbacks to my teenage years when I first played the game at midnight with no lights and the sound turned up. The voice acting is also only marginally better than the original, but its campiness just fits. Something about this scene specifically cracks me up every time.
Get that scum. Make him pay. Hang in there, Ben.
Resident Evil 2 is heavily nostalgic for me, and for good reason. It's a perfect survival horror game. Capcom created an adventure that keeps you on the edge of your seat as you don't know what's around the next corner. Even I, who's probably played it at least a dozen times, still find myself engrossed with it every time I boot it up. Many of you watching this are probably more familiar with the remake that came out a few years ago, which was fantastic in its own way, but seriously, if you haven't played the OG, you need to do yourself the favor and do so. It's available on multiple services such as GOG, so there's no reason not to give it a shot. It's a true classic and one that should not be ignored. Final score? 7 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.